Hi, my name is Kevin Carroll, and I'm the CEO of Games Workshop. It doesn't matter. Listen, I love this channel so much that I'm giving my full support behind it. Hey, if you know it's good for you, you'll like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and it means a hell of a lot to me. Oi, and what I say goes, because I'm the CEO.
Well, all this hell can see too well. Short time on earth, expanding good. Forever bitter and jaded and constipated. Just playing some games while
Busy day. Private Schmidt. 2 demerits. Lance Corporal Palvador. Flogging. Flogging's good. We all like flogging. Corporal O'Malley. Man, that guy is funny. What a funny kid. Well, summary execution on that's easy one. That's easy. Summary execution. Ooh, Major Santos. 1 demerit, right? 1 demerit. Summary execution. Oh, look at this. Private Ryan. Pretty sure his brothers I already killed. There's not worth saving Private Ryan. Let's summary execution. And then we have...
Hi everyone, that's me, Commissar Doug. And when I'm not deciding the fate of millions of people, I'm just like everyone else, just trying to navigate through this crazy world, keep my mind focused on work, enjoying my music and playing my guitar. And just trying to stay in shape. Because it doesn't matter what I'm doing. One thing is for certain.
I tell you, it ain't easy.
Commissar Doug is 100% right. It ain't easy. Because regardless of what I'm doing, I'm thinking about one thing and one thing only, and that's beating this guy in a game of Warhammer 40,000. So you're asking, who is that guy? Well, that's Carl. You might not know Carl. Some people do. I mean, he's kind of involved in the Warhammer 40,000 community. He used to run a podcast called The Independent Characters. He's busy at conventions, things of that nature. Well, hell, he's even a Warhammer hero. But I know something about Carl that a lot of people don't. He just loves to beat me at 40K. I loved this hobby.
I mean, just look at how happy I was. Here I am standing in front of a cardboard Space Marine, getting ready to play the GW store manager, and they say Warhammer isn't cool. And look at this, outdoor Warhammer with my buddy Kevin. I'm dressed to perfection. And yeah, those are beehives in the background because nothing goes better with 40K than 60,000 angry bees protecting their food source. And, right after that game, Kevin ate me. Here I am getting ready to unleash my guard. Pretty proud of myself that I actually remembered to use a stratagem. Right here, everybody's standing around with their twigs and berries in hand, and my face is buried in a rule book. I mean, I've always been a little bit confused about the rules. I haven't a clue who this guy is. But check this out. Here's the battle barn. I had an entire barn dedicated to 40K. And it was fantastic, and everything was great until one of my neighbors saw the Imperial Guard icon and accused me of being a white supremacist. Eventually, the HOA made me take it down, but we cleared up the misunderstanding, and no one really talked to me there for a while. But they had more time to hobby. And I love this picture. I mean, what a great looking game of Zone Mortalis. I mean, This hobby has been a major part of my life.
Yeah. Wow, I can still remember the first day I was introduced to 40K. Yeah. It seems like yesterday. I drove 2.5 hours to get here, man. I bet this store is gonna be so cool. Oh my God, that looks amazing. Dude, what are you doing? What am I doing? Don't worry about what I'm doing, worry about what you're doing. Hey, you wanna know what I'm doing? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm having a glass of water, right? And then I got these quarters here. About 5 minutes, I'm gonna go over to the deli. I'm gonna buy myself a nice pork sandwich, a bowl of gabagoo. But I have these dice here because I'm about ready to play this game. I've been waiting to play this game for so long. I've been picking these miniatures for like a year or something. Forget about it. Well, I read about this game called Warhammer Fantasy. I was thinking about trying it out. Oh, this is Warhammer, except it's Warhammer 40,000. It's the same freaking game you're talking about. The only difference is it's set 40,000 years into the future. You see this here? This little green guy? That's an orc. Just like the orcs in fantasy, the only difference is this guy lives on a moon or something, out of space. What do you want from me? Oh man, this is so cool. Well, I tell you what, you look like a nice kid. My name is Dominic. I tell you what, go on the other side of that table there, and you can play against me. You can move those pointy-headed Fajolis over there, all right? Dude, this is the greatest day of my life. So awesome. Hey, you like Bon Jovi? Bon Jovi? Forget about it. Who doesn't like Bon Jovi? Let me tell you something. Bruce Springsteen, Bon Jovi, best thing to come out of New Jersey. I don't want any arguments over there. Bruce Springsteen, Bon Jovi, best thing to come out of New Jersey. I tell you what, let's roll these dice and see who goes first, Man, really, just the best memories. Several times a week, I drive from Queens to New Jersey to hang out at that store. We had Necromunda on Mondays. We played a campaign that lasted over a year and a half. 40K on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It was all different types of GW games. Pizza and Dunkin' Donuts coffee, and then we'd all go out and hang out and grab some dinner and grab a beer. It was just a wonderful time. And it wasn't just about the games. It's about the friendships that you make along the way. Guys like Dominic, and there was Johnny and Captain America and Joey and Mailman Tom and Nick and his kid Short Bus Nicky, and there was Big Kevin and Regular Size Kevin. There was Jimmy. There were the brothers Tommy and Steve, Halfling Dan, Dermot, Ed, Lobster Boy, Scotty, Fat Gary. I mean, these people were part of my life for over 10 years, and it didn't make a difference where I went afterwards. Whether I ended up living in New York, in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Texas, Tokyo, California. The 40K hobby opened up all these doors and created all these friendships for me. It was wonderful. All until I met this guy. Sure on the surface, he seems like an incredibly nice guy, right? He appears positive, he appears friendly. Every now and then I get a call from him. He's like, "Hey, Doug, I'm just checking in." Or, "Hey, I saw on your Facebook page that your dog died. I just want to make sure everything's okay." That kind of thing. But I want to show you guys something. I came across some hidden footage of Carl at a party. Listen to his response when he's asked this question.
Hey, Carl, you know who I think of as really good at 40K? Doug.
It hurts. It does. But I know the truth. He hate me. I mean, what's a guy to do, right? You can only do so much. Listen, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done. Now, Carl's favorite army is his Thousand Sons. The damn thing is plastered all over the internet. His whole house is decorated Thousand Sons. In fact, even his Porsche 911 has a Thousand Sons license plate. Hey, look at me! I got a 911. Like a 911 makes you look cool. Come on. Shut up. Now, I've played Carl's Thousand Sons many times, and I've lost to him every time. I've lost to him with my Guard. I've lost to him with my Tau. I've lost to him with my Orks. I've even lost him with my Genestealer Cultists. But last night, I awoke with a revelation. If I do anything in life,
I must beat Carl in an epic game of 40K.
It was at this point and time that Commissar Doug realized that Carl had no idea what was going on. Carl had no clue about this video, nor did he agree to anything. Nevertheless, there was nothing that was going to change the trajectory of this impending tragedy. Because if there's one thing I learned over the years, you can't stop stupid.
Now back to your regularly scheduled program.
the next question is with what army? I mean, I've already tried with 4 other armies, so what army should I choose? And one of my problems is I'm not really a competitive player. I mean, I haven't played competitively in a while. It was 2012 since the last time I played competitively. I was in a tournament. I'm on the bottom tables. I'm playing against a guy with an open head wound and a 10-year-old kid, and I'm not joking around. The guy's got a calculator, and he's adding up his modifiers, and at the end of the day, the 10-year-old kid's mother comes up to me, and she's like, "Oh, thank you so much for letting my kid beat you. It was the only game he won all day." And I'm like, "Lady, I don't even think she was English." You know, it's upsetting. It really is. I've always been a hobby first kind of a guy. I play what I like to paint, what I want to paint. If I'm being honest, I tend to avoid playing with people who take this game too seriously. Just not for me. It's not my kind of fun. And I understand it is a lot of fun for other people who do take the game competitively, but you know, I just don't feel like 40K and I are wired in that way. You know what I mean? But as I sit here, I realize that I have to completely change the way I do things. If I want to win, and I do, I need to change my approach. But yeah, I just don't know how. Time to do some research. Unfortunately, all my efforts came up empty. I'm going to have to go to my most valued and trusted friend, the source to all of life's unanswered questions, the internet.
The internet is 90% porn and 10% stuff I don't need. The internet.
Well, it's pretty simple. Let's just do a search. I think the best thing to do is just, what is the most competitive army in 40K? What is the most competitive army in 40K? Done. And look at that. The folks at Dicebreaker give us the answer right there. It's the Iron Hands. And in second place, it's the Adepta Sororitas.
Thank me. And thank me. And me. And me. Yes. Yes, you must give us all a good spanking.
Some other folk. I gotta investigate this a little further. Let's just click on Dicebreaker. Okay, so here we are. 6 best armies in 40k. Iron Hands, Adeptus Aureus, Harlequins, Death Guard, Orks, and Tau. Now, I've already lost with my Orks and my Tau, so I'm not going to go in that direction. But man, these Iron Hands.
The Emperor guides my blades.
Iron Hands are one of the many Space Marine chapters out there, and one of the best, too. Well, that's good to know. But why? I wish she would really come and talk about why. Maybe I'll just reach out directly to Emma. I'll email Dicebreaker here. Okay, here we go. Dear Dicebreaker, my name is Doug, aka Commissar Doug, and I hope this finds you well. I'm trying to get in touch with Emma Partlow. Back in August, she wrote an article for Dicebreaker.com entitled 6 Best Warhammer 40,000 Armies, 9th edition. I'm in the process of building an army specifically to defeat my archnemesis, Karl, and I can use her help. I've lost to Karl's 1,000 sons, you know the story, Imperial Guard, Orks, Tau, Cultists, and have not been successful. I think her expertise would really come in handy. Thanks in advance for your system. Peace and love. Commissar Doug. All right, let's send that, and let's see what happens. All right, well, a little disappointing, but there's plenty of other people that we can go out there and ask for help. We'll just try a couple other folks well known in the community. All right, let's wait for a response and see what happens. Nothing. Listen, that wouldn't help me either. I think we're going to need a different approach. Prior to COVID, I went to the Las Vegas Open. I didn't actually play in the tournament. I just spent my time with a trans prostitute. But I did meet the guy who ran Frontline Gaming, and he was super nice. So I'm going to take a look at what's been happening on the competitive scene the last year. I mean, that's got to be a good starting point. So let's see what the folks at Frontline Gaming can tell us. I took a look at the 2021 ITC calendar year and the top 3 players in the nation per the ITC rankings. Then I looked at their top 5 scoring games in events where they won at those events, or at least placed within the top 3. Now, their names are not important, but I did find it interesting that one of the top ranking ITC players is named John Lennon.
Hey, what you doing there, John? Yeah, I'm just thinking about playing a game of 40k. Oh yeah, you know, that sounds alright.
It's a bit of an apples to oranges comparison because of how the ITC scoring system works, because of the variety of the events. For example, some are team events, some are individual. Nevertheless, I started seeing a trend. I also went a bit further down the rankings, looking at the top 10 finishes at each major tournament just to see what I could find. Again, the trend continued. There's also the recent Las Vegas Open that happened earlier in 2022. This event is a bit of an outlier. The event went to the Adeptus Mechanicus, with 2nd and 3rd going to the Custodes, but nevertheless, one particular faction stood out, having the most number of players, which in my opinion is an indication of how competitive this faction is, but also having the highest winning ratio at 62%, tying with the Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, there are some who are going to say I didn't do this correctly, that I'm an idiot and I don't know what I'm doing.
That guy didn't do it correctly. He's an idiot, and he doesn't know what he's doing.
Whatever you think, Commissar Doug, regardless, for me, the answer was very clear. I need to start a Drukhari army.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
And thanks to the magic of the internet, I was able to find several lists. So really, it just made perfect sense to me. I'll just get everything that's on this list. I'll hit the Games Workshop webpage, right? I'll buy everything, I'll get it painted up, and I'll bring on the paint, right? And that's how I thought about it. Then I went to bed. And I woke up in the middle of the night with a revelation. Ah! You see, in order to beat Karl, I'm going to have to be at my best. physically, I have to get back into shape. Mentally, I have to work on my mental health. But what I also need to do is I need to keep true to myself. I mean, I know I'm not a competitive gamer. I got that. But I need some sort of motivation to keep me in it, which means that I do have to approach this a little bit narratively, but I have to add the other stuff. I mean, really, it's a perfect combination.
Hey everybody, welcome to Cooking with Commissar Doug, and now your host, Commissar Doug.
Okay, let's get started. We've got all our ingredients. The recipe is really quite simple. You take 1 part love of the narrative, add 1 part competitive thinking, a healthy dollop of Agrath Earthshade, give it a good mix. And there you have it.
Awesome sauce!
This is it. This is the fuel I need to continue to put glue to plastic, brush to paint, and create a beautifully, fully painted army that I can be proud to call my own.
And then rub it in his face! Unfortunately, I'm still at a loss in terms of what army to play. And if I want to do this correctly, I'm going to have to keep my mind open to all possibilities, which means all armies. So potentially I could be playing Drukhari, or, God, I hate to think about this. I'd hate to think that I'd be playing Marines. And this is where, frankly, I have a real personal struggle. I kind of have to put things into perspective for you because at the end of the day, I hate Marines.
Your ass is mine.
Oh, time out. I don't mean the U.S. Marines, okay? I have nothing against the Marine Corps. In fact, I'm a former Marine myself, and I respect anybody who's been in the military, and thank you for your service and all that wonderful kind of stuff. I'm talking about Warhammer 40,000 Marines. I mean, I've always hated them from day one of this hobby. 30 years of hatred against Space Marines, and it's not really their aesthetics or their play style. It's really the lore. I mean, it goes much deeper than that.
That guy needs professional help.
Herr Commissar, welcome, please. Shit! Have a seat, please. Hi, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. But it is I who should be thanking you, for I have reviewed the details of your case, and I find it very interesting. Perhaps it is best if we start from the beginning. Geez, I don't even know where to start, right? Where do you start? I was a late bloomer. Probably didn't have a pubic hair until I was 20. I was 27 before I actually matured. I think a lot of people would probably argue with that. I had a difficult childhood. I mean, I had a very difficult childhood. I grew up in Long Island, New York, which is in itself an asylum, warrants a mental diagnosis just there. My dad was this New York cop, and he was like 6'4" and incredibly wide, and I was his short little asthmatic dough ball that sat around the house all day and played with Legos and his Planet of the Apes action figures, and boy, those action figures though, man, these were like 1970 Mego Planet of the Apes. We're not talking Caesar, we're talking Cornelius. I mean, it was the real deal. And no, Dad, they're not dolls, they're action figures.
Ah, very interesting. You played with dolls.
They're action figures.
No, you said they were dolls.
For the Emperor! Pew, 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 pew!
They're action figures.
It doesn't really matter. Because of my asthma, I couldn't really participate in any sports, so I didn't develop any athletic ability. So even to this day, I can't really throw a ball. My mom tried to help. She enrolled me in an asthmatic baseball league. Half the kids had physical induced asthma like I did. The other half had emotionally induced asthma. You run around the base and have an asthma attack by the time you get back, and then half the other team is having an asthma attack. So puffers are everywhere, Then in high school, I discovered D&D, which I guess in some ways got me out of my shell socially. But man, it marked me as a nerd, and ended any sense of normalcy whatsoever.
Interesting.
Interesting. I guess it's interesting. That was the problem in high school. When other kids were out there going to the prom and dancing and making out and smoking dope in the parking lot, I'm sitting in a corner drawing my Vorpal sword and getting shoved into gym lockers.
Commissar, I find this very interesting. What does any of this have to do with your feelings about Space Marines?
Well, because my dad and all those sort of type A meathead homophobes in high school that used to pick on me all the time are cut from the same stock that Space Marines chosen from. These are not like the best and the brightest of society. No, these guys were bullies in the society that they lived in, and then they get chosen for being bullies, and then they get augmented. They get superpowers, which makes them even more bullies than they already are.
Very, very interesting.
Give me the Imperial Guard, everyday men and women who are out there for the right reasons, just to get by and maybe better themselves and their family. They're not out there fighting chaos for some crazy reason. They're just doing what they need to do for the chance of some hot chow and some mail from home.
Mail? Ooh, no mail, sorry, against company policy. That comes straight from HR. There's no mail. Sorry about that,
They call them Astra Militarum nowadays, I don't know what this world is coming to. Imperial Guard, that's what we call them. That's what I like. I still say it. I don't care what they say. And these are still, call them whatever you want, though. They're still the true heroes of the 40K universe, not these overrated junky, the new armor people. Come on. Space Marines are not worth it. Horrible. Yeah. But I have to say, there's one Primarch in one chapter that rise above all the others. I think in particular this Primarch. Oh man, he doesn't subscribe to the nonsense dogma. He's someone. He's a true father figure. This guy. He's one Primarch that's something special.
Very interesting. Please tell me more.
Oh, you want to know more?
I'll tell you the story of the greatest Primarch ever. He is the one.
He is so impressive, so inspiring. Here is a Primarch that placed intelligence and knowledge above all things. A Primarch that understood that the real threat to the Imperium was intolerance and misunderstanding. A Primarch that saw himself and his legions as creators of a future, not just for the Imperium or for mankind, but for all. Here is a Primarch that would lead the Imperium into the light of reason and knowledge with compassion and empathy. And that Primarch is Magnus the Red, and the Legion, the Thousand Sons.
Well, thank you for the kind words. I just try to do my best.
During the Great Crusade, while the other Primarchs are just raising and raping and shooting up the galaxy, Magnus sees this as an opportunity to gather knowledge to educate himself in his chapter for the benefit of the Imperium. He's not frightened of Xenos technology or the hidden knowledge that's within the warp. For him, it's the pathway to victory. And as the great Sun Tzu once said, know thy enemy.
Hi, I'm Magnus. Well, how y'all doing? So I've got good news and I've got bad news. The good news first. We have come here to preserve and protect. We're gonna take the very best of you and preserve it, understand it. We're gonna learn from it so we can help so many others live a wonderful, enlightened life. The bad news? Well, we're still gonna kill you. Light 'em up, boys! Well, I just love the smell of dead Xenos in the morning. Smells like, well, ash. Dead Xeno ass. But man, it still smells good to me.
When the Thousand Sons would encounter human worlds lost to the Imperium, instead of forcing them to submit using fear and violence, he'd use his superior psychic ability and his diplomacy skills to leave populations enthralled to him in the Empire. And that's an example of true leadership.
Hi, I'm Magnus. How y'all doing? I come with great news. I mean, we're gonna take what's great about us, what's great about you, and make this planet about as perfect as possible. What do y'all say?
He really is the only Primarch that's worth looking up to, you know? He's intelligent, he's brave, he cares about his sons, handsome guy, you know? And when you look at it, he's the only Primarch with the guts to stand up against his father.
Herr Commissar, I find this all very interesting, but also very stupid. I think I'm understanding what the real issue is at hand. Perhaps your feelings towards Carl is because he collected, built, unpainted 8,000 Sons Marine Army before you did, therefore denying you the opportunity to please your father.
Oh my god. I don't realize. Oh my god.
Herr Commissar, it is not your fault.
Yeah, I know.
It is not your fault.
I know.
It's not your fault.
No, not you, man.
It is not your
God. Well, that just got real. Real dumb. This is my life, and it's ending 1 minute at a time. You wake up at the Air Harbor International. If you wake up at a different time, in a different place, could you wake up as a different person? We live in dark, dark times. But there is some light at the end of this tunnel, because today I can't help but feel like I've made some progress. And so I've made my first purchase towards this endeavor. It's an absolutely beautiful book. And you can say what you want about GW over the years, but the quality just gets better and better. And unlike the Codex of the Rogue Trader era or even second edition, there's so much fantastic narrative and backstory in each codex. And man, just look at how great this miniature is. Oh well, Mr. Magnus, maybe you and I meet on the hobby table at some other time. Right now I've got things to do. Because now I'm going to study the hell out of this thing, and by all means, if you feel like you want to help or have some suggestions, leave a comment below. I'm sincerely interested in what you have to say. And, you know, there is a certain something in the air now. I'm so excited about the loose Listen, I haven't been this excited about 40K in a very long time, because the next time we meet, I'm going to be announcing what army I'm going to be choosing. And then if you join me on this journey, yeah, we're going to be collecting, we're going to be building, we're going to be painting an army, get it all ready to beat this guy. I mean, I don't even know if he wants to play me or not, but it doesn't matter, because if you join me on this journey, we're going to be talking to some folks. I'm going to share with you some stories, some of my experiences, and what my 30 years of this GW hobby looks like, right? So if you excuse me, I've got a lot of work to do. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what you see, subscribe. We have a lot more fun and games planned in the future. But until then, happy hobbying, and we'll see you on the battlefield. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. That is freaky. That is one crazy CO.
Well, all this hell can see too well. Short time on earth, expanding good. Forever bitter and jaded and constipated. Just playing some games while we wait to die.